What's up, guys? It's Hunter. Hope y'all are having a great day. Today I'm going to be talking about some advanced Facebook strategies and what you need to know about the machine learning in the back end of Facebook. Now, why should you be listening to me? Well, all of these strategies I have personally used for myself. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, and I have generated a 20x overall return for my clients, which, you do the math, that's multiple millions of dollars. Also, I'm a Facebook preferred partner. What that means is that I get to directly talk to Facebook, consult with their ad experts, their machine learning departments, and get to learn all the new ins and outs about the algorithms, how they function, and how to get the best return out of the platform. Also, a lot of my friends are some of the top spenders on these platforms, and I've had the privilege of learning what they use and implementing the same strategies for myself. A lot of this stuff may go over some people's heads, but this video is really meant for those advertisers that are trying to get to $10,000 a day or trying to get to $100,000 a day. The strategies that really only matter when you're spending a lot, because the fine-tuned adjustments are where you're going to be able to pull more ROI out of. But if you're just getting started, this may just be interesting for you to kind of digest, try to understand, and articulate back into what you're currently doing as an advertiser. So the first segment of this video is going to be pretty straightforward and simple. We're going to talk about data aggregation. The foundation of everything that you do on Facebook and Instagram ads is data, and you have to have a properly set up pixel. Make sure the tracking codes that Facebook give you are correctly installed on your website, that all the events are passing through from your website or landing page. And if you're running Google or YouTube ads in unison to Facebook and Instagram, make sure you use Tag Manager and that everything is aggregated correctly. There's a lot of different ways to fuck this up, whether you're using a different web platform that doesn't support your pixel as efficiently as, say, something like Shopify or Wix or etc. Just make sure you got this base loaded. It's very, very crucial to your success. The second thing that I want to talk about is having all of your custom audiences set up before you start running ads. This is simply because you want those places of data to be ready to have data aggregated into them. So you're basically creating pools of data before you start sucking the data out of the system. What I would recommend to every single person who runs Facebook ads is to have every single action that a person can take that is getting pushed to your website set up on a custom audience with the last 30 days of data as a segment and the last 180 days as a segment. The reason for this is that the last 30 days you're going to want to use for retargeting. The last 180 days of data you're going to want to use for your lookalike audiences. Now, the biggest difference between a custom audience and a lookalike audience is the targeting. So, a lot of people that are sitting around Facebook, maybe they're talking about tea around their phone. Next thing you know, they get a Facebook ad and they're like, wow, Facebook is listening to me. And you're absolutely right. As much as Facebook doesn't want you to know, they are recording, listening to everything you do. You do a phone call, you send a text message, you talk around your phone about a certain subject. They are going to put ads in front of you that are relevant to what you're talking about. But the only way that you get the highest level of accuracy and getting in front of that person as quick as possible is with using a lookalike audience. Pretty much all the top spenders on Facebook are using lookalike audiences, variations of lookalike audiences, horizontally scaling them out, and most of them do not use manual targeting. You have to start with manual targeting to get enough data to move to lookalike audiences, but that is the cream of the crop. That's where you're going to get your ROI, that's where you cut the fat, and that's where you get massive success out of the platform. If for those of you who don't know what a lookalike audience is, it's very simple. It's basically taking a pool of people that have done a specific action and telling Facebook to go out and find more people like the people in that pool. As based on everything from their age, their gender, their interest, pretty much every data point that Facebook has on them. So back to setting up audiences. What you're going to want to do on top of having all of your different custom audiences for 30 and 180 days is you're going to want to take the 180-day custom audiences and you're going to want to turn those into lookalike audiences. So all of these lookalike audiences should be segmented out between 1 and 10% for every single action When I say between 1 and 10%, I don't mean the full range. I mean that you have one for 1%, you have one for 1 to 2%, you have one for 2 to 3%, and so on. You don't want to have audiences that overlap. Otherwise, you're just bidding yourself up. And that's something we're going to talk a little bit about in the next section is optimization. Why is it important to start with a base conversion? When you first start running Facebook ads, you're not going to have a lot of data. And you need to start with a lower quality data conversion event to be able to step and ramp yourself up as well as collect data. What I mean by that is don't go straight for the jugular when running conversion campaigns. Don't go straight for purchases because odds are you don't have enough purchase history. And if you do, great, you can start with that, but most people are not going to have that. So start with something a little lower in the chain like an add to cart or a view content or even visiting the website. Once you have 100 conversions of any event type, you can begin to use that as a targeting option as well as an optimization event. The ideal optimization level, though, is that if you have 50 of that event conversion in any 7-day window consistently, then you're ready to use lookalike audiences. Just start with 1%. You're not ready to go up to the 1 and 2 and 3 and so on and horizontally scale it out. But you have enough where Facebook has constant data flow where they can be like, all right, we can go find more people like this, and we have enough to optimize your ad sets entirely, where everything else above this point is just extra efficiency. Another thing, like we were just talking about, avoid audience overlap. That basically just means that if you have two campaigns side by side that have the same type of demographic in them or they overlap a little bit, what you are actually doing is you're bidding yourself up. So you don't want to do that because at scale, if you're spending a lot of money, if you're bidding against yourself, that's not a good scenario to be in. I talk about this in my other video, Facebook ad mistakes to avoid. Check that out. I talk about how to circumvent that and how to actually check your audience and your campaigns first. So the other thing that you want to do is make sure that you avoid significant edits. When you set up your Facebook ads, you need to do it right the first time. You want to basically set it up so that you make the least amount of changes over time. And I'm not saying don't make changes, but what I am saying is that every time you make a significant edit, Facebook is going to reset the optimization at the ad set level. So one thing that you can do, because most of the time you're going to be changing your budget a lot, and if you're changing it at the ad set level, that is considered a significant edit by Facebook, and it'll reset your optimization. Something, like I said, that you can do, use CBO, which is Campaign Budget Optimization. Basically, simple terms just means that you're setting the budget at the campaign level rather than the ad set level, and when you make that adjustment of budget, it's not going to fuck up all of your optimization in your ad sets. Basically, your goal overall in the higher umbrella is to get yourself optimized for purchases using lookalike audiences for purchases. That's like the pinnacle of advertising and AI data aggregation, optimization, etc. It's going to get you the best results. And when you get to that level, then when you get into horizontal scaling, this is how you make hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. I'm not going to go over that strategy today because it is extremely complex. I'll probably make another video on it just so you guys can see what it looks like, how it works. There's other people that use this strategy. Some of the top spenders like Ezra Firestone, Sam Ovens, Boniface Agunti. These guys all use different variations of this same strategy. Super important if you want to crush it with Facebook ads. So next we're going to talk about Neural AI. This is something you're probably going to hear next to no one actually talk about because this is information that's coming directly from Facebook. Now, I'm going to use a little whiteboard here to kind of explain what Neural AI is and how it actually works. So in general, most people that run Facebook ads, they have their ads manager attached to a pixel, and they are essentially just using one ad manager for all kinds of different campaign objectives. Now, that is totally cool up until a certain point. The best analogy that I could use to describe this is that if I gave you 10 different tasks to do that had all different types of talents that were required to do, it would be very difficult for you to do all those different tasks at one time. But if I give you one task with one objective and I say go out and do that versus the other type of scenario, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to accomplish that task. The exact same thing works with Facebook ads. So instead of having a campaign that has different types of objectives, or having different types of campaigns with different objectives in the same ad manager, what you're going to want to do is actually move your different types of objectives into different ad managers. So instead of having them all in one, you would have, say, your reach campaigns in one ad manager, your catalog sales in another, and your purchases in another. The reason for this is simply operational efficiency. When you create an ad manager, you're basically renting out server space at Facebook. And when you have one server that has a ton of different actions that it's trying to take, a ton of different pieces of data that it's trying to analyze and go through, you're just confusing the fuck out of it. And as you start to scale, you may not notice this because it's a very, very subtle thing, but if you're trying to get to the big win bucks, this is going to really help you get there faster because you're just making your system run more efficiently. So what you would want to do, though, that instead of having all of these different, let me get the little pencil here, give me one sec. Okay, so you want to have them all attached to the same pixel. A lot of this reason is just because the pixel, again, its own server, it's just a hard drive, all the data is getting sent to this place, just reference the same pixel. Otherwise, you're going to have to create different audiences in every single ad manager, and you're going to have multiple pixels on your website, and you're just going to overwhelm the fuck out of yourself. So don't do that. Just reference the same pixel. Use different ad managers for the different campaign objectives, and just make your life easier. So one interesting thing about this setup that I have noticed is that, Facebook gives you a line of credit with ads, or at least they rack you up and then they bill you at a certain amount. $900 is right now the cap unless you're a high ticket spender. So if you have multiple ad managers, you're actually getting a larger line of credit with Facebook, and you can continue to expand that, especially if one of your ad managers goes down, you still have other ones running for whatever reason. Sometimes you can cross the line with Facebook where they're like, all right, we're going to not approve your ad, and then you're trying to get it approved. And it's just good to have redundancy with this kind of stuff. One thing to note is that if you do this strategy, make sure you're very aware of your audience overlap because your audiences are going to be in different segments. So it's going to be harder to check, so you're going to want to make sure that you're using exclusions inside of your ad targeting to make sure that you're not bidding against another ad manager, because same thing, you'd be bidding yourself up, and you obviously don't want to do that to yourself. So back to the little presentation here, and let's see, technical difficulty. Okay, there we go. Wishing you guys all the best of success. That's the end of the video. I'll make another video on some of the other higher level strategies like horizontal scaling. You guys can dive into that. But if you want to follow me on any social media, you got a question about Facebook, Instagram ads, I would love to answer for you. I can even reach out to Facebook directly if I don't know the answer. And I just hope you guys are all crushing it with Facebook ads and everybody's winning. So wishing you all the best of success. Have a great day.